hit it. And anybody who would like to make a comment, you could come up here and hand your slip to this young lady on my left, and we'd be happy to take the time to listen to you. So with that, let's do our pledge. Chris, would you like to, please?
It would be my honor. Please face our flag, place your right hand over your heart, and follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will go into the minutes, but see, I don't think we're gonna get the October one, are we?
First, point of order would be the roll call, and I can do the roll call.
Want to do the roll call, then get into that? Okay, let's do the roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Wolf, Commissioner Retstad, Commissioner Hitz, Commissioner Brzee, Commissioner Beck,
Here.
Vice Chair Markarian,
Here.
and Chair Algauer.
Here.
And then I do want to note that the 3 commissioners that were missing did inform us of their inability to be here today.
Okay. Cool, now we want to move to the minutes.
Following the roll call would be the election of officers, if the commission would
Wanna
like
go
to
there
nominate the
okay.
chair and vice
All right.
chair, or potentially defer it to the subsequent meeting for the others to attend.
So
I'd like,
election of officers, let's just open that up.
I would like,
Now we can just do it, get it over with.
I'd like to nominate JR.
We need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. Want to do a roll call on that one, or is just?
Just do
a
all
show?
in favor and.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
No opposed, so,
Okay,
Yeah.
then the next one is the vice chair.
okay, now we need a vice chair. And my vice chair is pretty efficient, and I'd like to nominate Chris.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Chris, you're back.
All right. Well, congratulations, you guys. And then following that would be the public comment for items not on the agenda.
Okay, any items, anybody, do we have anybody who wants to speak on the item? Not on the agenda or on the agenda?
I have no requests to speak, so.
Well, there's an item of choose the AVA representation, so I know Tony and I are on it. Do we need to choose that again?
Do we need to?
I don't see that on the formal
don't
agenda.
see it.
The AVA designee would remain in place, so Tony and,
It's on your agenda. Page 2, top of page 2, on the roll call.
So I think that there might have been some updated version that we might have that you don't,
Oh, okay.
just based on the number of people that are here.
All right,
yeah.
so we will remain, Tony and I, on the AV committee.
yeah,
Yes.
that will remain for an additional year until the election season when all the committees get reappointed from there. So, yeah, no changes intended for that committee.
Okay, so you guys are doing a good job, so just continue doing it.
Very good, thank you.
Well, that moves us to the consent. What are we doing about the minutes on that October?
So it looks like both the October and February 2nd minutes do not have a quorum of members to to vote on those respective ones, so those would get pushed, would need to be continued to the next meeting.
Okay,
And so I would just need a motion to continue those items to the next meeting.
okay,
I
so,
make a motion that we continue both the minutes from October 20th, 2021 and February 2nd, 2022 to next planning commission meeting.
I'll second.
got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
None opposed, so we'll move it to our next meeting.
All right, so the new business item, Christian will do the presentation for case number 22-019.
Thank you, Chris.
The applicant, Lafferty Homes, brings before you case 22-019, an architectural review for 45 single-family residences associated with tract map 14429, south of Mill Creek Road and west of Bryant Street. A little background on this, the tentative tract map 14429 was originally approved all the way back in November 6, 1991, to create a planned development of 59 lots on 45 acres, which included the recognition of a previously mitigated negative declaration. The final map recorded in May of 2006, and since then, 12 of these lots were developed utilizing semi-custom home floor plans developed by a separate builder. Remaining 45 residential lots are to be considered for architectural review now. The proposed location is west of Bryant Street and south of Mill Creek Road, as I earlier stated, and it's surrounded by rural living and single-family residences, as well as open space to the south and east. This is a part of a planned development that took place with that 1991 tentative tract map. This is the site layout. It's going to be composed of detached 1- and 2-story single-family residences. There are 7 different floor plans with 2 elevation styles for each, and a total of 4 different elevation styles. It's going to lean a little craftsman and farmhouse with 14 total unique elevations. Landscaping is going to be reviewed as a condition of approval from that earlier TTM by the city's contract landscape architect. This is the first floor plan. It's a 2,587-foot single-story home. These are the 2 styles that it comes in. Option 1 is a cottage elevation. Option 2 is a craftsman elevation. Leave that there for a second. Plan 2 is a 2-story, 3,144 square foot home. These are the elevations. It's a farmhouse and a craftsman. Floor plan 3 is 2,806 feet. It's a single story. Let's go ahead and look at those elevations. There's a cottage and a craftsman elevation associated with this one. Plan floor is a 3,562 2-story home. I'm going to show you the elevations for that. We've got a farmhouse and a craftsman there. Going to go through quickly because we've got 7 elevation types. Plan 5 features a 3,058 square foot single story home. That's a farmhouse and a craftsman as well. Plan 6 is a 3,136 square foot 2-story home. There's a Northern European elevation as well as a farmhouse elevation. And lastly is Plan 7. There's a 3,425 square foot 2-story home with a farmhouse and a craftsman elevation. So to accommodate the custom nature of these homes, there are several add-ons. There's bonus rooms, side entry garages, and kind of a unique element of this plan is the ADUs that are associated. Each of those elevation styles has an ADU associated with it. Kind of minor changes along the frontage. Like the craftsman will have a shiplap siding or something like that. So it's this basic floor plan of 748 square feet. To comply with the custom home overlay that this is located in, each of these has an alternate side entry garage. Some of those are shown here. If there are any questions, I think that I should be able to answer them. I don't see the applicant here. No, I don't see the applicant here.
Anyone have any questions for staff at this time? Okay, would the applicant like to make a presentation? Applicant's not here? Okay, then we'll close the public comments and we'll move to the commissioners. Commissioners, any comments, suggestions?
Yeah, so having learned a little bit from being on the AV Architectural Review Committee, looking at this second page of the large packet, the ones that are in red line means they already have existing homes there?
Yeah, so the subdivision that took place, they were originally going to kind of do individual lot sales. The project was sold, and I believe the previous owner was the McDougal brothers. Lafferty Homes purchased the project and is completing the additional 45 homes.
Okay, and the houses that are already on these, already established, do they fall within any of these 7 elevations, or they're,
No,
Whatever.
they have their own semi-custom elevations that they went with.
The developer did try to create some degree of harmony with those existing homes. So there are some craftsman and kind of farmhouse style elevations within the Mountain Gate subdivision. I think there's one that's a little bit more modern than probably the rest, but they did try to at least, I think, correlate some of the color choices and some of the general themes, but certainly within their own individual floor plan package.
all right, and on this page right here, what's the difference between, I have purple and green, you have a blue and green there. What's the difference between the right side and left side of that page, you know?
I can clarify that. So the developer, Lafferty Homes, is purchasing the project, as Christian mentioned, from the McDougal brothers. And so originally they were in escrow, I think, for one half of the remaining homes, and then, but they are working to entitle the entire project.
So this is owned by Lafferty Home, the one in green, and the ones that are in purple are not owned by them yet?
I
Or
think
is-
they're exercising an option either to purchase it or they may have bought it already, but I'm not sure. But they do want to entitle everything in case that they do command ownership for the remainder of the project.
All right, is this owned by another developer or they individually owned, do we know? The other part that's not owned by Lafferty Homes?
So the ones that are with the red striping are the ones that have been developed through McDougal Brothers and Wayne Simmons for those semi-custom homes. So those are owned by individual property owners now or by McDougal Brothers. And then the remainder is what McDougal Brothers is selling to Lafferty Homes.
Got it.
And then they will sell that to individual property owners with these floor plans.
All right. Those are the only questions I had.
Anyone else have any issues? No. How about a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. Case number 22019, for the architectural review, the 45 single-family homes.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have any other discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
That's 4. Motion carried. Then the next item on the agenda would be case number 21-084, a CUP for density bonus agreement. And Christian, who's taking this to?
So in our review of this project, we realized that a couple of the variance findings had been flip-flopped, so I'm going to pass out the updated ones to you and put one on the back table for review. All right. So the applicant, Levi Affiliated Homes, brings item number 4, case number 21-084, conditional use permit, density bonus agreement, architectural review, minor variance and major variance associated with a 30-unit age-restricted senior housing project for individuals who are 55 years or older, with major variance for a reduction in parking and a minor variance for a setback reduction. And that's located at 34855 Avenue E, APN 0319-12124. The site is located on a 1.76 acre parcel located near the corner of Avenue E and 2nd Street. The current site features a single-family residence that is to be demolished with this project. It is located within the RM 72C, multiple residential, 7,200 square foot minimum lot size land use district. And it's surrounded by a mix of single and multifamily to the north, east, and west, and a mobile home park to the south. There's a drainage traversing the west side of the property, and this project is associated with the 21-094 conditional use permit and density bonus agreement for seniors who are 55 years or older. Here's the site plan. It features duplexes that are arranged around a central parking lot with a community feature towards the southwest. And that this entire placement has been kind of dictated by that drainage traversing the western edge. The floor plan is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom unit that are used as duplexes. They are 2-story and approximately 900 square feet of habitable living space with private outdoor space associated. The architectural review for each of these units is a very similar elevation with different styles. So the craftsman style features a gabled roof with shiplap siding and some stone veneer. There's a modern style with a little bit cleaner lines that has metal railing on the entryway and offset roof lines. And there's a farmhouse style that utilizes vertical shiplap siding. Go ahead and let everyone take a look at that. The minor variance associated with this project is for a reduction in setback along the southern property line from 20 feet to 19 feet. That is a feature of the kind of unique shape of this property, as well as that drainage that I talked about that is along the western edge. Staff recommends adopting the required findings due to the physical constraints on the site and because of the unique shape of this property. The major variance is for a reduction in parking by 44% from 60 required parking spaces to 34. Staff recommends adopting these required findings due to the reduced building area, due to that unique shape and the drainage along the western edge, as well as the proximity to nearby transit, Omnitrans 319, which provides service on this location every 60 minutes, Monday through Friday. Additionally, it is understood that seniors typically have less, or they don't tend to own multiple vehicles, so the expectation is that there will be less parking requirements. The conceptual landscaping was provided to the city and will be fully fleshed out with Steve Franken, the landscape architect. There's some signage that's associated with this project, a monument sign for Gabriella Court. You can potentially see it if you've got good eyes. Here is a site photo of the existing location. And here's another one. Public comment was sent to, or notices were sent to all properties within 300 feet and no responses were received. As a part of the environmental review, we should note that CEQA guidelines exempt both as infill development and then the minor variance is under 15305 of CEQA guidelines. So staff recommends that you approve measures A through D. The applicant is here if you guys have any questions, or hopefully staff can help answer those as well.
Okay, would the applicant like to? Oh, really? Oh, really? Welcome back.
Commission for dedicating your time here today to talk about these projects. I know we got a long agenda tonight. Ben, good to see you. Good to see you back. Congratulations. I'm excited for you. And then also thank you to Christian for all his help throughout all this. He did a good job explaining this. A couple little points that I just wanted to kind of add on to what Christian had already said is the Omnitrans. In addition to just being within close proximity, it also does offer paratransit service too for those with disabilities that need access to the service. They are within that service area to get the paratransit. Also, it is an opportunity zone property, so that is, part of the federal program to try to spur development in some of these areas, and so this is one of those properties that are located within that, and so this will be the same for the next couple projects as well. And then I'm open to, I guess as far as rental rates, and it's anticipated that these are gonna be rented between about $1,400 to $1,500. Now, these are gonna be market rates, so this is what we're anticipating. So this isn't a covenanted project for affordability, but they will be rented within an affordable low-income rate. So to give you some perspective on what an affordable low-income price would be for a two-bedroom project like this is $1,627, and so that's a low-income affordable unit, and so these are expected to be between $1,400 to $1,500. So, open to any other questions that you guys have for me.
There was a couple of issues about the parking issue. We have adequate parking for each unit, am I correct? Is there not a parking issue that I read on?
So as part of the density bonus for these projects, the parking requirement's usually one parking space per bedroom. And in that case, the project would be required to provide 60 spaces. In this application, they did submit a major variance to reduce that to 34 spaces, which would be at least one parking space for every unit, with 4 remaining as surplus.
So every unit has one parking spot.
Plus about 4 additional spaces.
Beg pardon?
Then there's about 4 additional spaces.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so there's 30 units, 30 parking spaces plus 4, so 34.
Okay.
4 of those are handicapped? Is that right?
2 of them.
2? Okay.
Is that the requirement for handicap?
For that number of spaces, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any comments or anybody?
No public comments have been received for this item.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll close the public comments.
One lady with a hand up.
She gonna turn her slip in, or what are we doing?
I have not received a slip. If the individual would like to provide a slip, she can bring it up here and then can provide a public comment to the dais.
Yeah, ma'am, just step up here, write a slip. I think Mr. Persiadi right there is gonna give you a slip. Give it to them, and you're more than welcome to make a comment for 3 minutes. So while we wait for the nice lady to do that, I just had a question for the staff. From my prior experience with these variance requests, there are findings that the planning commission has to find. And it appears here in this case, the staff has already gone through these 4 variance findings, and you guys are already considering it to fit within the 4 requirements. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we do receive as part of any variance application, a kind of letter of justification from the applicant to kind of tell us what they're looking to do and kind of what was their approach and necessity for that. And then based on our review, we provide responses in the agenda report and then include that in the findings, which was on page 10 and 11 of the staff report that articulate that. And so as Christian mentioned, key features with this particular site was the drainage channel along the western edge of the property, which does limit some of the buildable area, as well as kind of the weird, hexagonal shape of the site, which further constrains some of the building area. So it isn't as consistent of a lot as other projects would be. And so certainly creates a little bit more of a unique design challenge for developing the project, especially with the duplex modular units that are proposed.
And I'm all for that. I'm just trying to learn the process. So where in your report is it that the staff recommends this?
The findings are identified on page 10 and 11 of the staff report. One is on page 10 for the rear yard setback of 1 foot reduction. And then the page 11 is for the parking reduction. And then as I noted in the staff report, pages 4 and 5 also provide a general response to the variance finding request as well.
Am I looking at the same thing? Yeah. So I see 84 for the parking. What number is the rear setback?
So it's case number 84 as well. So they're just two separate findings. So as part of the approval package includes the findings for the conditional use permit, and then it goes into the findings for each respective variance as well, since they do need to stand on their own merits individually.
So it might be helpful, that paper that Ben handed out, we did have some flip-flopping of a couple of the variance findings. So we did clarify those with what we kind of.
All right, so I'm looking in this report right here, which says agenda item number 4. If you go to page 4, it says that variances, and it says variance finding number 1, staff response for parking and setback, variance finding number 2, staff response. Is that what you guys are talking about?
So that's kind of the analysis for the findings. We provide kind of a more global discussion of it. And then the actual findings, as kind of written in how the code is supposed to be set up, is in page 10, 11. So that's where it actually says, the project will not have this because, and actually goes through kind of the final
All
stream.
right, so my page 10 and 11 look like this.
That's further back. That's the page 10, 11 of the conditions.
Okay,
So if you look in the agenda report and certainly the sheet that was passed out, with the heading, it'll say the Levy Affiliated Holdings Plan Commission meeting on March 2nd, and then page 10 and 11.
okay, so what 10 and 11 is he talking about? Because that's, my 10 and 11 don't look like that.
I think you
I got this, the one that we were passed out. So, and looking at this for the rear yard setback, I have 4 paragraphs.
Yes.
And this is prepared by the staff, or is this the code as it's read, number 21-084?
No, that's prepared by staff for the findings, following what the requirements are of code.
Okay, so where's the language of 21-084? Where do I find that as far as the finding? Because we're going to adopt those findings, right? That's what you guys are asking us to do?
Yeah, and so the findings that those 4 items are the findings specifically for 21-084, and then the topic being discussed, so the parking reduction or the reduction of the rear yard setback. And I think when you're looking through the staff report, I think you flipped too far and went to page 10 of the conditions. So if you kind of just go straight through, then you'll see it. You'll have page 9, the findings for the conditional use permit, page 10 for the rear yard setback, and then the parking reduction. And then after that, you'll have the site plan map exhibit, and then the
Got
site
it.
photos, yeah.
Got it. All right, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, with that, young lady, you'd like to step forth? And if you could state your name and address for our records, please.
Elise Spooner.
Yes, ma'am.
You have the timer there?
Hit the timer. Okay, go ahead.
And so the reason why I'm here is because I have a concern regarding this project. I actually live on that street, and I've lived there since 1997. And with the 2 turnabouts that have been put in there, I feel that with this new building of the unit, it's going to create a situation for all of us who live on that street, especially with that amount of number, 30 units. With 30 units, that means more traffic. And I feel that for those of us who live there, it's going to create it even more traffic. visitors that would come over. I think it's great that it's a senior facility, but we're already having problems getting in and out of our driveways. Luckily, I have, on my side, I have an acre. I'm on that side, but I just live 2 doors down from that, and I sometimes have a hard time getting out myself. Even when I come back to the back of my property and turn around, sometimes I can't even get out of my property. So I feel that this is going to cause a problem for those of us that are living on that street.
You can't get out of your, because of traffic?
That's correct. Because before, when we had the stop signs, people would stop and then they would go. But because of the turnabouts at both ends, there's more streamline. So people aren't stopping, they're continuously going. So it creates a problem for those of us that are on that street.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, would the applicant like to answer that?
Well,
Rebuttal
I
it?
actually have a question to the staff before we invite the applicants. Do we have a traffic study on how this is going to affect traffic?
No, there was no traffic study required for this project. It's in compliance with the general plan, and so there was no additional study that was
Okay,
needed.
yeah, that's what I figured. So what, does the applicant want to do anything?
Now, Travis?
Just as, you know, Katrina just identified that it's consistent with the land use district and the general plan for the required, you know, for the amount of density. And so in that build-out capacity and for the capacity of the roadways, the maximum density is also something that's considered.
All right.
Okay, that's good, thank you.
I could probably add in, based on the traffic volumes that would be generated from this, it wouldn't trigger a requirement for a traffic study pursuant to the city's traffic impact guidelines. And should be further noted, in the staff report, did identify that there was a previous entitlement for a 16-unit non-senior apartment project on that site, and typically as part of the ITE manual for traffic stuff, is senior projects are half the traffic of a conventional project, so this parking demand would actually be a little bit less than what was previously approved for this site.
Okay,
And just wanted to address, ma'am, we appreciate you coming out here and bringing that concern. Based on what we've been approving, as it was mentioned, we require traffic studies if there is a project that's going to bring a lot of traffic down to a certain street. And Avenue E being a major artery, one of the main roads in our town, there's a level that if it's under that, it doesn't require that kind of study. So what the staff is saying, what my understanding is, the level of traffic that this project is going to add, it's not going to be so significant where the law requires a traffic study for us to even determine if it's going to be safe or it's going to impact the safety of the neighborhood, including you and everyone else that lives on Avenue E. Well, the only thing I want to add is, you know, crazy drivers are everywhere. And we live in a very small town, and hope that everyone is cautious to the driveways that I see on Avenue E going up and down. I have a lot of family that lives up and down that street. So the only thing I can say is maybe if there is a way we could place some signage. I'm sure there's going to be some signage. How far is the driveway of this project going to be from the roundabout?
okay, let's just back up one step before we move on with that. Let's close the public hearing. I close the public hearing, now I can move to the commissioners.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ben.
So do you guys know the distance of the driveway to this project from Avenue E to the roundabout?
I don't have my scale with me, but it's fairly close. It is within the improvements to the roundabout. Slightly east from midpoint.
And that's going to be the only driveway to this project?
That is correct.
Okay. You guys remember we had a similar situation with that county line project that we had that was going to be close to the roundabout, and we were thinking about doing a divider to make sure that someone doesn't make a left turn going into it. Is there anything that the staff is considering for the safety of not only this project and residents, but everyone around it? that we can make it safer in one way or another?
Kind of looking at least the aerial image, again, I don't have my scale with me, but it is a couple 100 feet west of the entry for the roundabout. So it isn't to the other project where that was kind of within the
Much
corner
closer.
radius of the roundabout. This one itself is further away.
It's like 4 parcels away, so.
Yeah, I'm looking at four parcels, and they're, I think, 100 feet wide or greater between the two.
Okay.
And then I do want to note that the driveway location is similar, as I mentioned, the other project that had been previously approved, it's the same location for that
Okay.
entryway.
All right. That's not as serious of an issue then.
Okay. Thank you, Ben, for that response. We have any other comments from commissioners?
I'll just say that, you know, as Ben said, ma'am, it was approved for apartments originally. And so this new one actually does cut it down from what the previous approval was, because they could actually build the apartments and then it would be quite a bit more traffic. But, so it's probably a benefit that it's a senior project instead of because they tend to have a lot less trips to the store and use public transportation a lot more, so I don't think that we can, overall, I think it's probably the best project that piece of property is gonna get, so.
I agree, and if it had been an apartment complex, it would have been more traffic. There'd been more parking requirements, wouldn't there?
Would have been a little bit more parking. As I mentioned, the other project was for 16 units. And so 16 times 2, since the senior project is half the parking requirements, that counts as 34 units. So that was equivalent to 34 or 32 units of what this would be, and this is only 30 units. So the traffic itself is technically 2 units less if you take the ITU kind of manual.
Well, and that's younger families typically too, and there's a lot more trips and picking up kids to and from school and stuff, so, yeah.
And Avenue E has the capacity for either one as well.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that's a great project for that street and everything. So now we need get a motion?
I have one more question, just a
Go ahead.
curious question.
Go ahead.
In the design, how many senior housing designs do we have where it's 2-story inside, 55 and over?
It is not that common. We will discuss this project as this, the Levy affiliated holdings. There is 2 other projects from the same applicant that's provided tonight that we'll discuss. They are currently modifying their floor plans to provide a single floor plan for that rather than the split level. So it'd be duplex units but stacked on top of each other rather than split. And so this project doesn't include that layout, and I believe that they're working on a modified version with the single floor layout for the other 2 projects, which is why the architectural review is not provided on those respective applications.
And the only reason I bring that up, my grandmother lives at Yucaipa Crest, where it's 2 stories, and so they have the upper story for one and the lower story for the second. My concern is for a senior, if, God forbid, they trip and fall on the stairs, outside, someone can see them. But if they were to trip inside, that would be a catastrophic issue for someone that doesn't have Lifeline or residents or relatives that would go visit. So that would be my only concern, is if there's something that we'd incorporate, whether it's the builder or whoever is going to manage the facility, to make sure that these seniors are safe within their homes if they were to trip and fall. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 4, case number 21-084, for conditional use permit, density bonus agreement, architectural review, and a variance for a reduction, with the recommendations A through E.
I'll second.
Yeah, a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So motion carries 4. Thank you. The next project is case number 21-085, 2024-086 CUP on a conditional use permit and the density bonus agreement.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman Al Gower. So as Ben mentioned, this is the second project in our series of 3 tonight in regards to senior housing presented by the applicant Levy Affiliated Holdings. This is a conditional use permit and density bonus agreement for the development of a 52-unit age-restricted senior housing project for individuals who are 55 years or older and is located at 12845 3rd Street. The parcel is 3.51 acres in size and is located between Wildwood Canyon Road and Avenue E. It's currently vacant, but a single-family residence was previously demolished in 2017. The zoning is RM72C, multiple residential, and there are single-family residences to the north and south, vacant parcels to the east and west, and a portion of the Yucaipa Valley Water District office site abuts the eastern property line as well. So the site plan is before you on the screen right now. Access will be provided to the site by a 24-foot driveway off of 3rd Street. This will allow two-way traffic for emergency access as well. A landscape detention basin will be on the southwestern corner of the site and will reduce runoff, complying with drainage requirements and engineering conditions of approval and standards. There are 52 proposed duplex units that will have a modular structure, and the density of the site is 14.1 dwelling units per acre. Site amenities will include a barbecue area with shade structures, a recreational facility, and sidewalks to provide connectivity with the development. I do want to point out that staff has worked with the applicant to incorporate some of these details throughout the entitlement process to ensure compliance with our municipal code and multifamily residential design guidelines. The project site currently provides 104 parking spaces and is in compliance with our municipal code parking requirements for projects that are requesting density bonus. Fencing around the property will be provided by a 6-foot tall CMU decorative wall on the front property line, and then a mix of view fencing consisting of tubular steel and privacy fencing that is composed of vinyl materials along remaining property lines and between internal units. These details will be confirmed through the architectural review process, which will be required at a later date and is provided as a condition of approval for this project, as we're only having the CUP site plan evaluated through this current project. So before you on the screen, I have a snippet from the staff report that was provided. And again, the applicant is reconsidering proposed floor plans, and as opposed to moving forward with the same 2-story modular duplex that you saw before you on the previous presentation, where they shared a connected wall between each of the units, and there was a bottom floor that had habitable space, kitchen facilities, and then bedrooms located on the 2nd story. The applicant is now expressing interest in reconfiguring this makeup to provide a bottom floor unit and then a 2nd story unit above that, which might better assist the potential needs of senior residents who will be served by this future development project and provide greater accessibility for their needs. Per the conditions of approval, architectural review will be required at a later date once those new floor plans are kind of further analyzed and worked through, and those will be provided to you through a planning commission meeting at a later date. Here's a photo of the site and another one. There's the pad for the previous single-family residence. Project notices were sent to surrounding property owners, and I received one phone call inquiring about the height of the proposed structures and then potential for the loss of existing mountain views from their private property. And I did provide clarification that the future development of the architectural review through that process at a later date will require that the units meet the multifamily development code requirements for a maximum height of 35 feet, and that the Yucaipa general plan does not protect private property views. In terms of environmental review, this project is categorically exempt from CEQA as infill development, and it's staff's recommendation that you approve items A through D on the screen and approve the project. If you have any questions, I can answer, and the applicant is before you.
Anyone have any questions for staff?
No, I addressed my concern.
Got a question for you on that parking. It says a 2 to 3 unit project requesting a density bonus. Yet they don't know the square footage, but they do know there are 2 and 3 bedrooms, right?
Yes, so generally the floor plans will be consistent with this site plan approval that is taking place through this entitlement today. And the architectural review, so what that unit makeup looks like will be finalized through that process.
So some may have 1 bedroom, some may have 3?
That's not the direction that I interpreted the kind of revamping of those floor plans. I imagine they will remain having 2 bedrooms. It would just be the bottom floor would encompass an entire unit as opposed to having a split connected wall separating those 2 units. So it's still a duplex, it's just you would have a base and then above that, a second story unit.
I think Chairman Algower's concern is 104 parking spots for 52 units of 2 bedrooms is the requirement. So 52 times 2. But if they had one of those units go to 3 bedrooms, then instead of 104, we're gonna need 105 parking stalls.
No, so the requirement for the DBA is for 2 to 3 bedroom units, they still only need 2 spaces for.
Does that answer your question? I think that's.
Yeah, and that's under state law, but with this being a senior-oriented project, the 3rd bedroom wouldn't be something that's, I think, a amenity for that. And so my understanding is only 2 bedroom units will be proposed once architecture review is submitted.
All right.
Okay, well, let's just move to the applicant. Can you maybe clear this up for us? Even though he's a Seattle fan.
Go Hawks. So they're correct. So it's going to be keep the same footprint. So it's going to be the same overall square footage as the previous project that you just reviewed. Just in order to provide a different kind of mix of styles, instead of having each project have the same type of units for each one, this project is going to be redesigned to have a first floor unit and a second floor unit. And so instead of a vertical shared wall, there'll be a horizontal shared wall. And then that will have an exterior staircase that leads up to that in front of the building. We are still in the process of redesigning those to fit the same footprints and dimensions of everything, but they will be the same basic product where there'll be 2 bedroom units.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
So you have no intentions of increasing the bedrooms or anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay, that's all, that's the only thing I have. Anyone else have questions for the applicant?
Nope. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you coming up, okay? Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll close the, is there any public comments?
No public comment slips were received on this item.
Thank you, sir. With that, we'll close the public hearing and we'll move back to the commissioners.
Make a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item number 5, case number 21-086, with a conditional use permit and a density bonus agreement and a recommendation of the staffs A through D.
I second it.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, 4-0.
Just to confirm, that was Commissioner Beck did the second, correct? Okay.
Okay, the next case, number 21-094, a conditional use permit and a density bonus agreement.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman Algauer. So the applicant Levy Affiliated Holdings has presented a conditional use permit and density bonus agreement, case number 21-094, for the development of a 32-unit age-restricted senior housing project for individuals who are 55 years or older, located on 4th Street between Yucaipa Boulevard and, this is the same project, huh?
Yes.
Sorry about that. I opened the wrong PowerPoint. Let me see. Where is it? This right one? Okay. I forgot to change the item number, I believe. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is on a 2.46 acre vacant parcel between Yucaipa Boulevard and Avenue E. RM 72C, multiple residential zoning, and multifamily apartments and condominiums are located to the north. A mobile home is to the south and east, and a senior living care facility is adjacent to the site on the other side of 4th Street. Much of the site is located within a 100-year floodplain, but engineering conditions of approval reflect this consideration. Additionally, the project is affiliated with case number 21-084, which Christian discussed earlier this evening, and that's for a 30-unit age-restricted senior housing project on Avenue E. In total, the two projects will provide a total of 62 senior housing units, and the density bonus agreements, which are required to be executed and drafted, approved by City Council at a later date, will be done concurrently for these two projects. The site plan is provided on the screen before you and will also provide a 24-foot wide driveway off of 4th Street. A landscape detention basin is on the southwestern corner of the site to comply with drainage requirements. There are 32 proposed duplex units with this site, providing a density of 13.06 dwelling units per acre. And similar to the other projects, site amenities include a barbecue area, shade structures, recreational area, and sidewalks. The project site currently provides 64 tandem parking spaces and is in compliance with municipal and density bonus request parking standards. Fencing around the property will be provided by a 6-foot-tall split-face decorative block wall, a mix of tubular steel fencing, and vinyl fencing along the remaining property lines. At this point, conceptual plans do indicate that there's existing chain link fence to remain on the northern property line, but this doesn't comply with the multifamily design standards found in the citywide design guidelines, so the architectural review process will allow the applicant to update and modify current plans and will be additionally confirmed through our building permit process. Similar to the other project, some of these items are still to be determined and confirmed through the architectural review process that staff will complete at a later date once those floor plans are provided for your review. Again, the initial submittal proposed the 2-story modular duplexes, and the intention is on this project site to provide a bottom floor unit and a second floor unit with a horizontal separating wall. Here's a photo of the site. And then you can see the existing chain link here on the northern property line. Project notices were sent and no comments were received. And this project would also be exempt from CEQA per the categorical exemption class 32 for infill development. And so it's staff's recommendation that the project is approved with items A through D recommendations.
Anyone have a question for staff yet?
I do. JR, hey Ben. So on landscape, the detention basins, is there any requirements when it comes to how deep those are, if they've got to be fenced off around them? In the event there was a big rain and they filled up and there was water actually retaining in there, and like a child were to walk and fall in those and drown, like a pool?
So there is, as part of the engineering and building code requirements, right now the final engineering or hydrology and water quality plans have not been developed, and so the final kind of grades necessary or infiltration needed for those basins haven't been determined. But yes, if they're a little bit larger size basins where the delta between the top of slope and the bottom is pretty significant, then those may have to be fenced as part of that code. And typically, most applicants use like a tubular steel, so then that way they can view what's happening to it if there is any issues, and make sure that is at least visible if it's a maintenance concern.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, with that, would the applicant like to make a presentation? Hey, here we go again.
I think staff covered it pretty well. This is pretty similar to the last two projects. Again, this one's going to be one of the redesigned units where you're gonna be one on top, one on bottom, similar project.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
Nope.
Not third time around.
Now, next to, directly north of your project, there's a housing tract, isn't there? Apartments or stuff?
I believe there's an apartment complex, yes.
Yeah, is there, what kind of fencing is gonna be on that line, that northern property?
That one we were anticipating to be vinyl. But that one will, once we have that landscape plan, goes in there. Once we have the landscape plan and it's officially submitted during the architectural review, it'll come back to you guys for review of that. But right now, it's planned for vinyl.
Okay. All right. That's it. Any other questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, Travis. Appreciate your comments. With that, we have any public comments?
No public comments were received on this particular item.
Okay, we'll close the public portion of it and we'll move to the commissioners. So other than, I mean, right at this point, we haven't got an architectural, so we're not sure about the walls yet. So, anyone have any comments or questions or motions?
Should I make another motion?
Yeah, I'll make a
Richard,
motion.
make a motion.
Make a motion for us to approve case number 21-094 and recommendations A through D.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you. You got another project, Travis.
Projects, good job.
Again, thanks for coming, giving us a good presentation. Okay, let's just move to the next item on our agenda is number 21-148, a planning use permit for an open lot storage and light equipment on Outer Highway 10.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. The applicant, Kevin Sarton, brings before you item number 7, case number 21-148, planning use permit to permit open lot storage to store materials and light equipment on 2 vacant parcels at 31925 and 31919 Outer Highway 10. The site is located on 1.06 acres within 2 parcels. It's zoned for service commercial, and that permits Class 2 general open lot storage under Section 84.0230, commercial land use types. There is warehousing to the north across the I-10 freeway, pawn shop to the east, a vacant commercial lot that is within the city of Redlands to the south, and a pottery yard shop to the west. The site is relatively flat with entry from Outer Highway 10 as well as 17th Street. So the site will feature paved circulation from Outer Highway 10 to 17th Street, allowing for entrance and exit from both, with open lot storage on either side of that entrance on base 2 aggregate surface. And the site will include 3 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space to accommodate all of the employees on the largest shift of business. So this is the site as existing. Project notices were sent to all surrounding property owners and no responses were received. So it is staff's recommendation that you approve the conditional use permit and make the findings A through D.
Anyone have any questions for staff?
When we say that they're gonna use this open lot for storage yard to store materials and light equipment, is there any restrictions on that, or it could be any equipment?
So it's the typical equipment associated with his business that he runs.
Which is what?
If the applicant would like to speak on it, he could.
Applicant is here?
Okay, with the app, oh,
Not this guy again.
what a night.
Hello, my name is Travis Heaps, and I'll be representing the applicant, Mr. Kevin Sarton, who owns a beekeeping business. And so no bees will be stored on site, but, you know, so it's
No
just.
what? What was that?
No bees.
Bees.
Beekeeping.
Okay.
So he won't be
Apiary.
storing any bees on site, but it's just the equipment and stuff that he typically would associate it with it. And then it's also down the road in case he wanted to maybe rent out some of that storage area, you know, to, you know, like a light construction equipment, tractors and things like that. That would be able to be stored in the future.
So
So right
the-
now, it's the intended use is for storage of his beekeeping equipment.
So, but I mean, they will be renting it out to the public as well, for spacing, for storage? Or is it just,
That is something that could be done down the road, but as of now, he's gonna be using it as beekeeping business.
So,
and there was a comment about the lights illuminating on the site. That's not gonna be pointed in direction of any adjacent properties. So, I mean, that's not me, but if we start renting spaces, that could be an issue.
It would still be managed by the property owner, by Mr. Sarton. And so with that, we still have to comply with all the conditions of approval and all that, so like to shield
Okay.
over lights and glare.
I'm good with, I'm
And
fine
I would
with
also
that.
like to point out that like the surrounding uses are all commercial. There is a residential property that's a few parcels south of it.
Yeah.
But there is a buffer between that.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Travis, again. Did we have any public comments on this?
No public comments were received on this item.
And there was no letters or anything from anybody? No, okay. We'll close the public hearing, and we'll move back to the commissioners. Somebody want to make comments here? I think it looks pretty cut and dry. Pretty simple.
I think so too.
All right, so
I'm good with.
Richard, give me a motion.
Well, then let's make a motion to approve case number 21-148 and recommendations A through D.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you. Are you leaving?
Oh, thank God.
Don't go away mad. Okay, let's move to our last item on the agenda is number 21-192, special use permit and architectural review.
Yeah, this one should be pretty quick. It's item number 8. Thank you, Honorable Chairman. The applicant, Bruce Cornwell, brings before you case number 21-192, a special use permit and architectural review for a proposed 1,080 square foot garage and 13.5 foot tall detached garage on a single-family residence located at 11748 Second Street. It's a 0.47 acre parcel located in the RS 72C, which is the single residential 7,200 square foot lot size minimum district. It is surrounded by other single-family residences, and this garage is meant to provide storage for the applicant's cars, tools, and other materials. So this is the site plan. The site is currently improved with a 1,542 square foot home and a detached 500 square foot garage. There are 2 unpermitted additions to this site. There is an addition to the garage and a patio cover on the house that are to be removed and or permitted. The proposed garage is 1,080 feet, and the proposed garage fits within all RS 72C setbacks and is located behind the main residence. So these are the elevations. The garage features a pitched roof that is 13.5 feet tall. It has 3 roll-up doors proposed to be along the northern elevation, which is facing the public right-of-way, and a man door and a window that are proposed on the east elevation. The structure is going to be painted clay with a black roof and trim in order to match the primary residence, and the doors and window are going to be painted white to create some contrast. This is a picture of the home. The applicant did a pretty good job matching the colors. And public comments, notices were sent out to the surrounding property owners and no responses were received. So it is staff's recommendation that you adopt measures A through D.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for staff at this time? Seeing none, is the applicant not here? Okay, well, we'll close the public hearing and move to the commissioners.
I don't have anything.
Tony, you're up.
I'll make a motion to approve case number 21-192 with recommendations A through D.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0. Thank you.
Just to confirm, Chris Markarian did the second.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any announcement?
We will have a planning commission meeting in 2 weeks. So we'll see you guys again this month. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's all I got.
What about the Institute? Do we got any signed up for it, or what are we doing with the Board of City of?
So Chris Me did provide out the details for the Plan Commissioner Academy. No one had responded with interest to attend, and so.
Okay.
We are interested to attend. I think we were just talking about whether or not the vaccination is gonna be required, or can we show a negative thing? I'm interested to attend.
I think it did require vaccination to attend. That wasn't listed in the.
That's all.
No, it didn't, well,
It-
at least what Chris sent out.
Oh, it didn't?
I was interested in,
Okay.
I was waiting for the package for what we needed to do. But yeah,
Are you going or no?
it did
No,
not require vaccination.
with the rodeo
it-
coming
it
up,
was either or.
Oh, either or. Okay.
So I'm interested in going. If I need to do something, let me know. I'll do it.
Okay, then send me an email tomorrow, and I'll have to figure out the accommodations for that. I think the the window was closing, so I'll have to get a jump on that.
Richard, are you interested?
Oh, can't
No.
go during the week.
Okay, so we do have two commissioners here that are interested.
Okay.
One more time, the date for that?
I thought it was March something.
It is in March, and so that's part of the timeline. I got it.
Yeah, and if it's too tight of a schedule, I'm okay. I mean, I've been to it before. I thought I'd just go and catch up. So it's not too big of a deal for me. So I don't want to make it a hassle. If Tony is gonna go, I'll just, copy his notes. No, I mean, it's not gonna be that exciting of a trip, relax.
I might want to go now.
There we go. Yeah, no, I'm okay either way, Ben. So, especially if it's coming up soon, I don't want to cause an additional.
I'd love to go, but because of the rodeo coming up, I'm just a little preoccupied.
Yeah, so it appears it's March 16th through the 18th, which would be our next Plan Commission meeting, but I'll have to see if there's even rooms available for that.
Yeah,
So
don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I can
We'll be
give you
here.
guys
We'd rather be with you guys than anywhere else.
I can give you guys a Plan Commissioner Academy training.
Hey, I'd like that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. If
I
you
might
can-
be able to make room to go. If
Are you going?
I wasn't going to go unless others went, given I have
okay.
the newborn now. So-
Yeah, no, you got your hands full already. But if we can get a summary of what's going to be presented, is there any way we can get that?
I can do that and try to work through the topics and perhaps do.
Just email us the
they
PowerPoint.
put it
or something.
online, don't they?
They do, but I think you have to pay something to get access to some of the clips. But I can certainly look through the discussion topics and then perhaps do a study session on perhaps some key themes. I know one of them I think was related to the SB 9 requirements, and certainly we'll be coming back to Planning Commission with an ordinance for that and a few other key elements. So I can certainly do a study session on some of the topics and at least have a fun discussion with all the commissioners on key emerging planning trends. What?
There you go.
Yeah, for lunch, you know, nice long lunch, you know, break. You know.
Technically open to the public, but we can certainly work through a fun way to discuss it. Certainly, as you guys know, I love to talk about planning, so always happy to talk about different topics.
Yeah, that would be a good, you know, thing to do too.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
No, just we miss Chris. I know she's gone, and hopefully we'll see her around.
She back?
What?
Is she back, Chris? No.
Chris accepted a job with Premium Land Development, so
Chris
she.
Nee is gone.
Yeah, I know.
Well, from here.
From here, yeah. So we have to replace her, huh?
That is correct.
Wow. Okay,
So if you see her, feel free to give her a hard time.
all right, thank you. Meeting adjourned.
All right.